Hello and welcome to my 99th episode of my Let's Play a World of Tanks. That is, yeah, I'm really making a huge dent in all these videos. I mean, in total I think I'm upwards of around 130, maybe 150 videos total. But that's if you take all the ones I separated out into different parts and all the other videos and everything else. But needless to say, it's been 99 videos, and I've been having a great time doing it ever since day one, and I'm glad that I've just improved my style, improved my play style, improved how I present stuff. I mean, I've really learned a lot by doing this, and I really hope you all have learned something too. So I'm gonna kind of do a nice little 99th episode recap, a nice little look at the crystal ball as to what's ahead for World of Tanks, look into my own personal crystal ball as to what's ahead of me, and yeah, we'll go from there. So, first off, at the very beginning of this Let's Play series, I started off with just the brand spanking new, just out of beta client, just entered into public release. I had played the beta client up until probably the IS-2 or IS-3, the Tiger. Pretty much what's your tier 7 right about now is about as far as I made it in the beta. I never really got too much further than that. And I enjoyed it back then when I was doing it. And then pretty much right about when the full client was released is when I decided, you know what? I've seen a lot of Let's Plays of different games. I've seen a lot of Minecraft stuff. I've seen a lot of just Call of Duty, etc., etc. And I figured, you know what? I want to present to people a game that probably hasn't been heard of too much yet. Present people a game that no one's really seen or has experienced yet outside of those who are in the beta, and that is just this great, I don't want to call it a first-person shooter, because it's not quite a first-person shooter, but a little bit of a showing of just this game that no one's played before, such as it's a team-based deathmatch of tanks that also incorporates the capture the flag element, incorporates a health system as opposed to a regeneration system, and includes upgrades that very much diversify each individual player and their tank and their style of play. And so that's what I wanted to do, is just show people this completely different game from what's typically out there. I mean, you look at your COD, your difference is just your guns, and it really comes down to your play style. I mean, one gun to the next, yeah, you'll notice slight differences, but no real big thing. Whereas here, you get 14 people plus yourself in all different sorts of setups and layouts and customization, ranging from the crew being skilled up differently to the choice of weapons you put on there to the different modules you have and everything else. And then you're pit against 15 other people who all are in that same boat. And it's never the same layout, it's never the same makeup, and you just have to see what you and your team can do. And so that's really what drew me to this game. And I really wanted to show people that there are differences. It's not, you know, you don't hark back to the days of Counter-Strike 1.6, and it's like, hey, you can, I even remember the keybinds, like B42 for your AUG or your M4, and that's what you went with. That was the solid choice, and that's all you did. Now, with that, I mean, all these choices, not one tank is not better than another entirely. There are, of course, power tanks. There are tanks that really suffer, but it's the randomization of you don't know what tier you're going to be facing, what your opponents are going to be like, nothing. So even like the lowly BDRG, and ARL, which are not the best tanks, even those, when they're put at the highest tier, or when they're facing things that are relatively low and they're the highest tier in that match, they're still great tanks. And so everything balances out one way or another. I know a lot of people say that, oh, this tank is not balanced compared to this tank, or this thing is not balanced to another, but the way things are balanced, and this goes for almost every game, and I'm sure Wargaming kind of factored this math in when they developed this game. They weren't just going to put out a, you know, just a, hey, let's make everything ahistorical and then X country wins because of certain Y factor. No. they probably went with a similar factor as to what like League of Legends and Dota and all those groups do, which is tank A can beat tank B, which can beat tank C, which can beat tank D, which can beat tank A. So it's a cycle of what's called, I think it's called a sliding balance system, where it's basically you get one thing which is countered by another, and to counter that thing that countered the first one, the third thing counters that second thing, and then the first thing counters that third thing. So it's a complete circle in the whole aspect of it, and then you introduce player skill as well. So that way, there's a whole nice little balance system in and of itself, and not one thing is all-powerful. You don't have one person running around with an Abrams, for lack of better examples, and just destroying everything on this battlefield. So balance has never really been too much of an issue. They've made slight tweaks to bring things a little bit more in, but nothing's been too bad. So I wanted to kind of show everyone this whole tank game, this awesome game that was new to the market. And you know, I always have been a FPS person. I thought I was more of a strategy person for the longest time, but FPSs kind of just suit me a little better. And I mean, it's not a big deal. That's just what I learned. That's how I got into stuff in gaming. And so I wanted to, this game sort of fit me in the different play style of what I do and what I like. So I brought that to people. I invested into recording software and editing software because I actually had a background in video production and stuff. I was a comm major back in college until I decided I wanted an actual career. But that's a whole different discussion for a different time. And so I wanted to put that to use. I wanted to make it a challenge to myself to be able to kind of learn tips and tricks that I used to know back in the day and kind of just have fun at the same time and really have a good time making these videos and stuff. So investing all this stuff, getting nice headphones, a nice microphone, eventually a new computer that can handle it, balancing all that out with my life, and also trying to make sure that the game is enjoyable. And I want it to be a challenge, and this game is nothing but a challenge. Yes, sometimes it could be absolutely frustrating and infuriating to me, and if you're on TeamSpeak with me in the clan, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where I'll just swear up and down like a sailor that this game's broken, and that's BS that this guy was able to do that, and blah blah blah, but in the end, it is fun, and I do enjoy it. I enjoy the complete community aspect of this game, and just how it brings out, there's tournaments, there's the whole in-game aspect to it, there's all sorts of like contests and stuff that the company runs, and you don't see other groups doing that. Like Blizzard doesn't have these sorts of, you know, community contests for World of Warcraft. Well, they probably do, but I mean, it's just uncommon to see a small-time developer like Wargaming do something that's just like, hey, we got all this stuff that we want everyone to be able to participate in. And yes, while, you know, small clan like Dodo PD really can't hold its own in clan wars anymore, there's still other options. Like we always enjoy the tournaments. We have good times when I do my live streaming and we do the company battles, and we enjoy when we run, you know, super platoons, and just the sort of community aspect to this game is what really sets it apart from like COD, where it's you hop on Xbox and you invite the 6 of your friends and you go into a match and you pub stomp for a while. Yeah, it's just the developer offers so much that a lot of other developers don't really have going and offering to other people. So that's one of the main aspects why I love this game. And you know, just I wanted to challenge myself with something new and something different. Yeah, I could have done like a Minecraft series, or I could have done a Let's Play of Wings of Liberty or something like that for StarCraft, but I wanted to do this game because it was interesting, and then it continued on and continued on. I eventually built up my viewer base like you all, and that's what keeps driving me to keep doing these videos and keep doing content, is because I enjoy doing it for everybody else, and they can live vicariously through it and through my frustrations and my triumphs. And of course I only really show my triumphs, but that's needless to say. Anyway, let me go to the next battle here. So as I continue with my reminiscing, for lack of better terms, I just, I've learned a lot through the production of this series and through, well, it's not the end of the series, don't get that in your minds, but I just want to make sure that's clear, because I'm talking like it is, but it isn't. So anyhow, I'll get to that in another tank here, not this one. But things I've learned from doing this series is just how to improve my skill, how to be a better player, be a better team player too, because that's a very important aspect of this, is you really need to make sure you're not playing for yourself, that you need to be playing to support the team, and that this is not a lone wolf type of game. There's no way you can survive and win. You have to basically work together and make sure that everyone's able to do stuff together. There's no way that by yourself you can run all 15 people off the table. That's just impossible. So, as I try and push this guy into the drink, which isn't gonna happen. Yeah, so, I mean, I've learned certain stuff like how to lead better, which is, I mean, it's a natural development, something you gotta learn to do on your own. It's just how to gauge the speed of another tank versus the speed of your tank, and the travel time of what you think your shells are going to be, where you think you're going to land your shot. And that's all something you just learn over time and through practice. And then also learning to read the minimap. I always make sure that anytime there's a quick lull, I'm looking down, seeing where everybody is, seeing the best way that I can go and help them. And I mean, there's stuff like that. I saw there was 2 people up north, and I wanted to know where the rest of the people were, so I just quickly looked just barely over the hill doing a proper scout maneuver so I could spot people and make sure I knew where everybody was. That helps out the team because now everybody knows where certain tanks are. And also I'm moving to go and assist other players. I don't want to sit there and just slug shot for shot with that IS or something where I know it Tiger back there, where I know it wouldn't do anything. And then of course having the situational awareness, building that sort of thing up where I can see that, hey, I know there's 4 or 5 tanks to the south. I know there's 2 or 3 in the center. I know how many guys are left, and there's only 7. So that means there's 1 guy already in the back. So that means I can run through this north part without trouble. So it's certain things like that. Being able to develop that sense of situational awareness, quick reactions and understanding things, and just developing that reaction time where I'm able to quickly sort of snap my shots around when I go around buildings, or being able to do like this, where I quickly aim and center on the guy and fire without having to stop and delay myself, or being able to respond, and being able to communicate with other people. Like that, I was able to tell my buddy Mike, hey, I know north is completely clear, let's go north and be able to take stuff out. So that's what we did. And so, I mean, stuff like that, and just knowing certain things, like I know taking out the Tiger is going to be rough, but we have an IS and an M4 over there, so he's fine. I need to take out this T-25 because I know he has weaker armor and that he's going to be launching shells into them, so I need to get over there. So just simple, easy stuff like that makes all the world of difference. And of course, what's a game without a quick ram for death? So a nice little kamikaze there just to have some fun. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that. This game's taught me quite a lot and has improved my player skill. I've actually gone up from I want to say maybe a 50% win ratio, which should be average if you're just pubbing around, to being able to get up to a 57% there, which is pretty amazing for just playing pubs and the occasional tank company. And beyond that, I mean, if you wanted to look into it even further, I'm now a 1600 efficiency rating. I think that's probably going to be my peak. And I started off with about a 1200, which should be expected for a standard player who's used to FPSs. And that's, while there's a whole lot of arguments about F rating and why it's not a really good measure, which in all honesty it isn't, knowing the background, I learned how to support the team and how to better help everybody as opposed to just running off into the distance and hoping for the best. So let me move from my reminiscing into looking at the future of stuff. Alright, so the way to do this is you need to get a ELC, you need to get to the bunker in E2 on Siegfried Line, you need to push up against the corner of the bunker like so, and then keep wedging forward and eventually you will soon spiral out and get launched up in the air. Results may vary, but that is how you do it. Wow, that's the moon over there. And bouncing off, and there you go. That is how you do it. Push up against the wall, you gotta get that corner, otherwise it won't work.